Hello, my friends. I am so excited. I am definitely a teacher. So I tried to start my new year off with new devotional and a new planner, and I'm gonna show you both right now. So I love these spiral bound Bibles. I got one for Christmas. I got Psalms and Proverbs for Christmas, and I used that for about 6 months, and I just loved it. Now the difference between that and this one is it's the Bible. This is the Bible and a devotional. Really, it's more devotional. But here's what I love. All right, so it's broken down into subjects. So like there's the creation, there's God's love, there's faith. So it's a whole year of the Bible broken down into these concepts right here. And as you can see, there's lots of concepts. So one, I really like that. On the first day, you're supposed to read the synopsis that they have for you. Isn't it pretty? Oh, it's so pretty. And then each day you read a different scripture. And I am the type of person that I can read it and then I'm going to forget it. So what I do is I read it and then I'll write it. There's like a synopsis on the back, and then there's usually questions that you can answer on the back. So I'll cover up my answers. So the reflection concepts and motivations, things that you can do to help bind with the scripture for that week. And then look right here. So here's going to be my only problem. All right. When I write scripture, I write it in cursive, and that's not necessarily a problem. I write it in cursive because it helps me to remember it better, helps me to slow down. It helps me to focus on the word. And I think it's important that we write in cursive for future generations. Maybe one day, one of my great-grandchildren will look through this and see scripture written in my handwriting. Hopefully they'll be able to read it, but either way. So that's one that's important. You hear my dryer going in the background, sorry. Now something else I do, and I have learned that, is I'm only going to be able to put 3 scriptures on there because it goes right to the next one. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some Post-it note stickies with lines, and I will write the rest of the verses on there, and I will stick them on this side. So no matter what, I will have both. There's 7 verses, or 7 sets of verses. Let me say it that way. So that way, in fact, I just ordered them. So that way each week I can add to it. I like writing in different colors because it helps my brain focus. And then when I am reading my Bible or I am focused on scripture, I always do 2 things. So I usually circle the words God or Jesus or Father or Son. And then I underline, double underline the verb, single underline the nouns. So I'm changing that up just to make my brain think a little different. And I am going to use a different technique. So I'm going to highlight. So back to what I was saying. So I'm going to highlight in yellow because yellow is the first color you see in the rainbow. So I think it should be the most important. So I'm highlighting wherever you see God or Jesus or Son or Father or something that references them in yellow. So even if it's their pronoun. So those will be in yellow. Then the verbs are going to be in pink. And I'm going to underline the nouns in orange. And sometimes I'm going to circle them. So if there's something I can remember. What this does is it helps me not just focus on the words, but on the meaning and the depth of the words. For example, in this scripture right here, Psalms 19, 1-4, I love the fact that it says that all of the words are coming directly from God or Jesus. They have already been spoken, and they are filled with knowledge and wisdom. Okay, but that's a choice, right? That's a choice. Because sometimes we fill our words that's not with godly wisdom. But I love that because it makes me slow down. It makes me focus on what does the scripture tell me. So it's little chunks each day. Now what it tells you is if you miss a day, just go on to the next day. But I'm not that person. So no matter what, I'm just going to do each day. And I'm about to check the ones off I've done. So I've done 3 days. And as I do more, I'll add more until I have filled up. And once I finish one week, then I'll move on to the next week. So that is my new devotional. I'm very excited about this. It's nice to start my morning up with a cup of coffee. As you can see, my pens that I use are InkJoy pens. I keep them here, so I use InkJoy pens. And of course, my handy highlighters. So I am excited. And then I'm not the type of person that starts just because we're starting school. It's July. I'm not the type of person that starts on a Monday. As you can see, I've done it for 3 days and I really like it. So that is a brief synopsis of my new devotional that I'm going to work on.